Thank you all for being here tonight. We will be coming to order. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silent prayer. Before we even go, just want everybody to know, today is, January 9th is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize all the men and women in the Concord Police that have bravely served for us, and just thank you for what you do today and every day. So, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, I'd like to have a motion for the approval of the minutes from January 26th, December 10th, and December 12th.
So move, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Coming up on the weekend, or coming up on January 20th, is Martin Luther King Day. We have some different events in the area starting on the, I believe it's the 15th, the 15th, and then Friday, and then Monday. We have the march and the celebration we have. So that said, I have a proclamation, and Betty and I would like to come forward and present this for the record.
Can I ask any members of the MLK, Concord, Cabarrus, MLK, planning forward as well?
Hello. Reverend, how are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Good to
How
see
about
you.
Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year.
Yes. So we'll just do this together, if that's okay. Please stand right here. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inspired millions of Americans by becoming a visionary leader of the civil rights movement with the goal of creating a society tolerant of all races, cultures, and nationalities. Whereas Dr. King's enduring contribution to America reminds us that people should, quote, not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And whereas the ideals of Dr. King and of the Concord's commitment to human rights are a worthy reflection and serve as a reminder that improving the quality of life for all members of our community is the responsibility of every citizen. Whereas the celebration of Dr. King's birthday is intended to honor an American who dedicated his life to the fundamental principles of freedom, opportunity, and equal justice for all. Now, therefore, I, William C. Dush, Mayor, and the City Council of the City of Concord do hereby encourage all citizens to redirect themselves to the principles of respect for human rights and freedom, a belief in nonviolence, and the commitment to improving your community on January 20th, 2025. We therefore have Dr. Martin Luther King coming forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the ongoing partnership. Thank you.
And Betty and Reverend, would you just sort of go into what the events are for next week?
So the first event will be on Wednesday at 5:30, 6 o'clock. 5:30 we will have refreshments. Normally on the Monday we would have the wreath laying ceremony, but this year it's going to be Wednesday, 5:30 at Grace Lutheran Church. We'll have a ceremony. We will do the wreath laying, and we'll have the wreath at the roundabout on the actual Wednesday as well. Mm-hmm. And then on Friday, we have a Living Legends banquet where we will be honoring different members of the community. That will be at the Laureate in Kannapolis, and that's at 6. It's 6 p.m. It's a ticketed event, so if you check the website to get those tickets, and then on, what's the next event?
Monday.
It's the parade. Monday is the parade, and there's some activities going on, a walkthrough as well.
Yeah.
So the parade is at what time? 11 a.m. is the parade.
I'm glad you're here.
It's all, I am too. It's all on the website. All right, thank you.
Yes. And again, thank you very, very much.
Appreciate the partnership.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
Always. Thanks. Thank you again.
Oh,
Whoops,
standing here together.
we got a moment. Proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have, it seems to be every month, we're starting to rotate a lot of individuals. Tonight, we're going to honor Captain Warren B. Hatley. Come forward. And don't you have some family with you here? You know, it'd be nice, nice to have them come forward too, so we can. You've been, they've had to live with you.
Yep. I put up with a lot.
Yes.
I put up with a lot.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, thank you for being here tonight. So, let me just read a little bit here. Captain Hatley began his service in the fire department October 1995. He has worked throughout the ranks of basic firefighter to captain. Captain Hatley had been responsible for handling situations from the simplest station tour question, which I've asked a lot along the way, and tasked with the most technical fire and rescue scenarios he could encounter. Captain Hatley feels he is part of the best team in the city and has worked in every weather condition to bring about the best possible outcome for our citizens and visitors. He has witnessed the growth of the city almost double in size since he started, bringing the growth and opportunities to our community. Warren has had the pleasure to have made lifelong friends and work with the best people in the world. He's looking forward to retiring and spending quality time with his family. Ta-da! And is very appreciative of the opportunity to have worked for Team Concord. We just want to all thank you for your service, and we're going to miss you, but we expect to still see you in the community.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Let's do a round of applause first. Now, we talked a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
Right.
And you say you don't like to do yard work of some kinds. But what do you like to do now?
Well, I do a little bit of swimming pool work on the side because I don't like cutting grass. And my wife, she's been telling me there's some things around the house that need to be taken care of, so that'll be high on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, so what do you have to add to that?
He loves to split wood.
Oh, okay, all right.
I figure my stuff will be splitting firewood.
And what do you have that's embarrassing about his early life?
Really not much. He's a great kid, and I do thank y'all for the opportunity of giving him his lifelong desire, and that is to be a fireman. When he was about this high, Santa Claus brought him a yellow coat and a red fire cap, and we couldn't even get them off of him to get in the booth. It was just like they were
Hey, you're
glued
turning
to
red.
him. So this is,
It is hot in
meant
here.
a lot to him and to me.
Well, thank you so much for being here and also sharing him with us for all these years.
Yes.
And if you could, the council wants to thank you also. Congratulations. Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
You recommend us all these guys?
Yes. Matter of fact, are you guys going to miss him? Good answer, good answer. Anybody have an embarrassing story I can share here? No, you can't? Okay. Thank you for being here tonight to honor him. This is great. Thank you.
again.
Yes, absolutely. That was easy. once again. Just so you'll know, item 2 we presented on Tuesday night, and item 4 we did on Tuesday night. So we'll move on to informational items. Lloyd, Parks and Rec line update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sheila will provide this month's update to council. So Sheila, if you would.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. Tonight, I'll provide the January bond update for you guys. First is the financial update. There is an update on this slide. We had 2 increases. One was in investment earnings and one was in the project cost estimates. As you can see at the bottom, we are still ready and within our budget for the bonds. Projects under construction. First is Dorton Park. If you've been out there or by it, there's a lot of areas that are almost completed as far as the project. In February, we'll be installing the new playground that's going to be located near the tennis courts. This week, we have completed and secured all the permitting needed to bid for the Cottle Creek stream restoration where we had the bank collapse. We're planning to put that with engineering as far as the partnership. They will put this out to bid either tomorrow or early next week. The anticipated time for the stream restoration completion is 60 days, weather permitting. Next is the Academy Gibson Aquatic Center. Construction still continues. The supplies and materials have been ordered. Staff and the contractor continue to work with CHA on the plans and compliance for this project. Next is Marvin Caldwell Park. Site mobilization is complete. The fence has been installed. They are beginning site prep work and beginning to do the stormwater measures to move into construction. Next projects, the Jim Ramsor Park. We are continuing to work with our consultant and NCDOT for the driveway permit and the easements that are needed for the driveway. Just a reminder, once that permit has been given to us by NCDOT, we'll be able to move to the bidding phase. On Monday, a part of the driveway permit is an easement, and part of that is the easement that was located for the water connection on the Cox Mill High School property. On Monday, Cabarrus County's Board of Commissioners approved that easement, temporary construction easement for the water connection. The next step, once I have that signed document back, I will be back to council to seek your approval for that temporary construction easement. Next is the Academy Gibson Fields. We continue design for this project. The consultant has or continues to work on comments made through our Excella process. We are planning to bring this to council. Our goal is to bring it to you in the spring for design approval and then take this project to bid in the summer. Next is the Academy Gibson Skate Park Pump Track Sculpture Garden. Design continues on this project. This consultant is also working through comments made through Excella. We have submitted the submitted the permit request to NCDEQ for the stormwater measures for this project. We are hoping to bring design to council in the summer and bid in the fall for this project. Next is Dave Phillips Park. This design has already been approved by council. The consultant continues addressing comments made through Excella and we're anticipating bidding this project in the winter. Next is Hartselle Park. We continue with design for this project. This month, the consultant should be submitting to Excella for their, our internal review for this project. We continue to work on the prefab bathroom building that will replace the other restroom building in the park that caught fire. Designed for this to council in the summer, and it'll be winter, fall, winter for bidding for this project. Next is the Poplar Tent Trailhead Park. Right now, I have no updates on this. We continue with design. And the next parks that will be coming online soon will be Wilson Street. That will be the next one we will move to the design process. And then next will be Flow and then the Academy Recreation Center. This is the timeline. The only change to this timeline is that I've moved and changed Caldwell Park to say under construction. And I will be glad to answer any questions on any of the bond projects.
Thank you, Sheila. Question from council? Sounds good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we move on to downtown streetscape.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Kaylee is here tonight to give her her monthly presentation,
Yeah.
and Steve will fill in for Paige. She is out this evening. So Kaylee, if you would.
Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. We'll get started with the construction update. So completed work since last month. The temporary road striping was installed, as well as sidewalk installation south of Corbin Avenue. So that's near Rotary Square and the St. James Church. They finished those sidewalks up. Landscaping's also, we're saying complete, but do note there are a couple trees that will be installed after our temporary lighting poles are removed, but everything else is installed. Light poles are 100% installed, and that includes, you can see in the picture, the festoon towers and the string lights there. And then there's also a conduit crossing that they did down at Corbin Avenue that's complete. And that conduit crossing is really just for future growth. Didn't want to miss the opportunity to have it in place for future electrical needs. Current work, some of this is ongoing, some is kind of scheduled. We've had to work around some of the weather that we're getting here in the colder months, but they are still working on pulling wire, and then they will start fiber once all of the electrical wires are pulled for the poles. Drilling for flag holders and signs, that's ongoing this week. We're working with the Lions Club to make sure we're getting all the correct locations for the flag holders that go up 13 times a year, I think, for holidays. Drinking fountain installation, that's a little weather dependent as well, kind of wanting the warmer temperature, at least consistently, so they can kind of test it and make sure everything's running well. Pressure washing sidewalks, once that's complete, they'll do the furniture installation that Buildings and Grounds will assist with. Brick paver installation is scheduled for next week, so they just finished the concrete work at Cabarrus near Buzz City and Bead Lady in those two corners, and they do have the brick paver crews coming back out. That'll complete for all of the brick pavers for the entire project. And then milling and paving Corbin Avenue to Ford Avenue. We were hoping to do it this week, maybe next week. They're just following the weather. It's looking like potentially end of next week, but it might go into the week of the 20th. As soon as we can kind of get 1 or 2 days where we know it's going to be over 40, we'll get that scheduled. And then you can see in some of the pictures, the landscaping, the temporary striping, and they did do some kind of grading work there at Corbin Avenue, that picture on the right. I wanted to bring one thing to your attention with them finishing up the project. The thermoplastic striping, that's why we've done temporary, because this requires the surface to be 50 degrees or above. So this includes, there's temporary stripings down, but there are things like crosswalks, Sharrow markings, some of those other items that'll come later, especially the large compass that's in Cabarrus Avenue. So just kind of reminding you guys, as I'm doing these updates, that will come when it's warmer. We're looking at hopefully March when the temperatures rise. And the compass in Cabarrus Avenue is actually 24 feet in diameter. It's very large. So also a heads up that might include a day road closure just to make sure they can get that installed and keep it kind of safe until we can get traffic back on it. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. So this is where we were a month ago, north of Cabarrus Avenue. And today, not as striking of a difference, but you know, the final layer of asphalt was put in, the temporary striping, the roadway is open to traffic now. Light poles have been installed in this area. You can see this was taken yesterday. It was when they were pouring the concrete at the two corners, so some of that work has progressed along there. And then just working our way kind of now up at the library, looking south down on a very cold day. Then they took these pictures yesterday. So you can kind of see more of that concrete work. Another view, including that Novi location. Nice shot there of the festoon towers with the lights.
While you have this, where will the compass rose be?
The compass will be in that intersection.
At the
Be right in,
square?
at Cabarrus and Union, yeah.
Okay.
That's delineating, you know, the northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest of our road designations. And it's hard to tell because it's a little further away. I'll try and get a shot closer to Corbin Avenue next time, but those sidewalks down south of Corbin have been complete. The two corners, they did grading work there, and they plan to pour the concrete on St. James and Rotary side next week for those ADA ramp areas. And then just a shot kind of looking north, including the courthouse. And I did this a few months ago, but I thought I would show you guys once again where we were about a little less than 4 years ago. Before I press play, it's about 20 seconds, but just bring your attention to the courthouse is clearly under construction, coming out of the ground. The old police department had been demoed at this point, but the old city hall building was still there. And we'll kind of play it, and you'll start seeing the courthouse come out of the ground, and then Novi Flats. 2 cranes in downtown with Novi Rise coming up. And Novi Lofts with the streetscape coming down the road. And unfortunately, it ends on a rain day because that was Monday, and that's just when the video stops.
Well,
But
I'm sure you'll add another one.
yeah, we'll do something when it's spring, maybe, if they keep the cameras up. LMG's been gracious enough to kind of keep these going, so we've been able to follow the project. But then my last 2 slides, just our typical weekly updates. And obviously with the holidays, some of those were not done. And then parking, we're open to 2-way traffic. I try and keep this map updated so if people are visiting it, they know that there's still a construction zone, that things may change. But we do continue to monitor the parking and find that 60% average is pretty accurate. I thought I'd run the numbers for what 2024 found with those occupancies, and City Deck typically is more occupied during, you know, weekdays than the county deck. So you're seeing 72% and 48%. And then overall, if it was one large deck, we were kind of looking at the numbers that way, it would be about 56, so under 60% occupancy.
That does not include the spots that Novi controls. That's the open spaces.
This is including them because we take the counts on the first Tuesday of the month at 10 in the morning when those are available for use.
The Novi spots on the county deck or their?
I'm just looking at the combined number.
But
The county deck, yeah.
Yeah, in the county deck, not,
only county, not Novi's in their apartment they have.
right, no, that's what I'm talking
It
about.
does count.
It does count,
Yeah.
the ones that are available, because at that moment they are being available, we take the numbers for that. Any questions for me before I pass it to Steve?
Questions?
No question, well, yeah, one question. So will the clock be replaced at the square?
The clock that the Rotary Club donated will be near the Bead Lady. So it'll be on the opposite side where it used to be on the building of the hotel, but it'll still be right there near the square, yes.
And the compass, I think, is a nice piece for old people like myself and Chief Hughes. That's how we learned to get around the city when we started policing. So, so
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
And the string lights, when will they be lit all the time? Any idea? You wouldn't believe how many times I get asked that.
Yeah.
When are the lights going to be on?
Excuse me, they're looking at the early February. So, yeah.
Good. I mean, that'll be all the lights.
Yes.
The street lights and the string lights.
Yeah, we'll be working with IntelliStreets as they get those light poles commissioned for all of the fancy features, but the light poles will be on early February.
And they've been working on the panel in front of the Caber Center.
Yeah, the kiosk that's there. That actually houses the electrical panels for the light poles, but it has kind of a screen that we can program on one side, and then there will be a map, vinyl applied map.
They've
too.
been out there every morning freezing.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah. Okay, questions? Anybody, anything else? All right. Steve, welcome.
Yes, sir. So Kaylee's video is a great segue into this. So Paige submitted to the county courthouse for a North Carolina Main Street Award, which is, as you know, is both difficult to achieve and also very prestigious, and they were awarded Best Public Building Improvement State of North Carolina. So we're quite proud of that, and I want to go down memory lane for 1 second because remember about 5 years ago, the county ran the idea by the city of closing means so that they could go out instead of up and create that plaza. So it was the coordination with the city and city council approval to close that street, which now enables that, and this is a great picture reflecting it. I'll also add that the county's designers for their entire project worked seamlessly with the city staff and our designer, McGill, so that everything coordinated and tied in. And then their contractor, Messer, has worked super well with Sealand and city staff and county staff. It's just been a very seamless, cohesive project between the two. The public looks at it and everything flows, but I can tell you it was a lot of work to get the transitions, to materials, to match, to infrastructure, everything. So just, I really want to brag about the county, but also the cooperation between the county and the city to pull this off. One last slide. We get asked a lot about grand opening. We're targeting spring. We do not have a date, but we're going to have something, and we've been focused on getting the streetscape behind us, so now we can start thinking about how we're going to celebrate. But if you'll notice, the bottom right-hand corner got incorporated the new logo. And that's all I've got.
Any questions?
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. All right, great updates. And we will be moving on to recognition of persons requesting to be heard. Let me go ahead and read this, even though I have nobody signed up, just in case somebody wants to speak. This portion of our meeting is a time to recognize persons requesting to be heard and provide an opportunity for anyone wishing to address the city council to do so. Each person received 3 minutes to address the council. This is time for listening for the council. The subject will be noted, and if required action or requests, the city manager will note of such and provide steps of any required response or after action. Please leave your contact information with city clerk to facilitate communication. I have no one signed up. Is there anyone like to speak for 3 minutes about any topic? All right. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on for a weather update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So call on Ian, our emergency management director for the city, to come up and just provide a brief update to council and the public about the impending weather.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. I did just get off a phone call with the National Weather Service before I walked in the building here. And as many of you know, our entire area is now under a winter storm warning. So what that means is the latest forecast from the Weather Service is now predicting less snow for us and more ice, unfortunately. So that's going to consist of sleet and freezing rain for our area. The timing for this event is still Friday afternoon and Friday night, continuing into Saturday morning. I caution everyone, if you do not need to be on the roads Friday night or Saturday morning, please stay home. 1 to 2 inches of snow and up to a 1/4 inch of ice accumulation is forecasted for our area, which could result in isolated power outages and very icy road conditions for us. So time will tell as that system moves in what exactly we will get here locally. Temperatures are forecasted to rise above freezing by noon on Saturday, but plummet back into the 20s Saturday night. So that may create additional hazards for our area Saturday night. Preparedness information has been sent to city staff as well as pushed out on social media for Concord citizens. I've also been in touch with our department directors, and all applicable departments are making sure extra measures are put into place to appropriately respond to any storm-related calls for service that we may have. This includes upstaffing where needed, stocking and fueling vehicles and equipment, applying salt brine to bare pavement routes, and lining up on-call crews to respond if needed. Additional briefings will be sent to city staff tomorrow morning as additional information is received from the Weather Service. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, no questions, but I would ask that Philip come up just for clarification. There may be some questions from some about what bare pavement is, because oftentimes when we have weather events, we'll have citizens that are wanting to know why their road didn't have brine or didn't have salt applied to it, and it's more the main road. So Philip, if you could, just give a brief description of that for clarification.
Sure, absolutely, and good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. The bare pavement routes are our major corridors through Concord. We partner with DOT. There's some routes that NCDOT treats, some NCDOT routes that we actually treat. If it falls on a more secondary route to them, we may pick those up. But those are the major routes that are gonna be to the hospital, major corridors through Concord, your heavier ADT vehicle travel miles. You know, to our Concord Mills area, you'll see Concord Mills Boulevard, Bruce Smith Boulevard included in that, George Lyles, and so forth. So again, those are our major routes. Those are what we need to clear first to get those emergency responses taken care of. So,
Any questions?
Philip, it's not really a question, but maybe there's a lot of people from the north that move down to the south, and they don't understand about road plowing and how we're a little different. Can you maybe go over that a little bit too? Because those are the calls that we get also.
correct. So obviously, if the event is all snow, that's much easier for our plows to get up under that to plow that off. When it's ice, the plow blades simply skip off the top of the ice initially. The salt brine works to a point until it freezes, until it starts washing away, and then it refreezes. So that's where Ian mentioned about Sunday morning. That Saturday night refreeze as some water comes back across the road from the shoulders, from the turn lanes, or those areas that are you know, shady areas in town. You'll have those black ice spots. Again, the plows will simply just go straight across that. They can't get under. They're not knife edge. They're a chunk of metal that goes across it. So that always makes ours unique in that.
Any more questions? Anything else to add?
Nope. So again, just to reiterate, they said tomorrow afternoon what we'll probably see is it start out as snow for those first couple hours, and then as the night progresses, it's going to transition to that freezing rain, which is going to create our issues. But luckily, it's a Friday night, overnight. Hopefully everybody will be in, and we won't have to worry about it.
Have you heard about schools for tomorrow?
Schools are closed, yes, sir.
Anybody have anything else? Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We'll now move into public hearings. We'll start with number 1, conduct a public hearing to pursue an NC General Statute 15871. Consider granting a 3-year 50% tax-based incentive. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So move, Mayor.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. And I have no one to speak for or against that. Is there anyone like to speak in regards to this item? All right, with no one wanting to speak, I motion back, council to motion to close the public hearing.
So move. Second.
And a motion and second. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. And back to council for recommendation.
Mayor, I recommend that we approve conducting and hearing and considering offering a contract for 3 years / at 50% tax-based economic development grant to Custom Ingredients, DBA Custom Flavors, to locate at 7955 and 7975 West Wind Boulevard, Northwest, Concord, North Carolina.
Well, thank you. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
All right, ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Item 2, conduct a public hearing pursuant to NC General Statute 15871. Consider a 1-year 85% tax base incentive. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Got a motion and a second? Thank you very much. All in favor, raise your hand. I have no one signed up for or against this. Anyone like to speak in regards to this item? There is no one to speak in regards to this item, so we'll go ahead and ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make this one short, Mayor. I move that we accept this and move to go forward with the incentive base.
We
Oh, I'm sorry.
got to close the
I'll
public
close the
hearing.
public hearing.
I-
Make it real
yeah, that's-
short.
But
Make it
legally.
real short.
Legally, I want to close the public
Okay,
hearing.
move to close the public hearing then.
We got a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand.
I
Now,
move-
is there
now I
a
move to
motion?
approve the 85% grant going forward.
And we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Okay.
We've been doing it 7 years.
Okay, Terry, you ready for the next one? Number 3, conduct a public hearing to consider adopting ordinance amending Article 5 subdivision site plan construction plans. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? We got a motion and a second. All right, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. I have no one signed up for or against this. Is there anyone like to speak in regards to this item? There is no one to speak in regards to the item. Back to the city council for motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Got a motion second, ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. So now we have back to council, and here are the information that we learned that we have to do with this. So does council have a statement of reasonability and consistency as to approve or not to approve?
Two motions right now.
Correct.
So I move we accept the statement of reasonableness and consistency as written.
The first 2 bullet points?
First, yes, I'm sorry.
First 2.
First 2.
Top 2 there.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. In the second part of this, Valerie, tell us.
Approve or deny the text amendments?
There you go. Is there a motion to approve or deny the text amendment?
I move we approve the text amendments as written.
Got a motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Okay, that completes our public hearings. Now we're moving to petitions and requests. Number 1, consider adopting an ordinance amending Chapter 62 of the Water and Wastewater Utilities section.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Kevin went over this item, which was connected to the previous public hearing item. This one, of course, is not a public hearing, but it does require council action. This does amend the city code, similar to what the previous item does for our CDO.
Okay, thank you. Is there a recommendation from council?
Motion to approve the ordinance.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion and second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Number 2, consider renaming a private street from Stowe Lane to Team Hendrick Way.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve went over this item with council on Tuesday evening. This is a request from the property owner to rename the private street, Stowe Lane, to Team Hendrick Way. Staff would make that recommendation this evening to council.
Okay, is there a recommendation from council?
Mayor, I move to adopt the name change.
We got a, yeah, we had a second over here. All right, great. Motion second, so we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Item number 3, consider entering an agreement with City of Kannapolis to construct structural sign and landscaping.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Philip did describe this item in detail on Tuesday evening. It's a project that staff and this council has been waiting on for quite some time. So staff would ask that council allow us to move forward with this. We would be as responsible for an amount of $364,000 as indicated in your agenda packet to enter into this agreement and move forward with the project.
Okay, thank you. Is there a recommendation from council?
Without a question, I move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, so got a motion second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Good going there. Number 4, consider awarding 2 bids, the amount of $876,000 to Wesco and Siemens Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jaren from the Electric Department discussed this item with council on Tuesday evening. This is upgrades that are needed at Delivery 3. You can see there are two items, one being a contract to Wesco in the amount of $111,102, and a second contract to Siemens in the amount of $765,860. Both of those were the lowest responsible bidders for the project.
Thank you. Is there a recommendation from council?
I'll second that, Mayor.
We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Number 5, consider awarding a bid to Virginia Transform Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jaron also described this item to council on Tuesday evening. This is work needed at Sub H. This is a bid that is recommended to go to Virginia Transformer Corporation, the amount of $1,430,800. And so staff would recommend that to council for approval this evening.
Thank you very much. Is there a,
Mayor, I move to award the bid.
I'll second.
we got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Item 6, consider accepting a preliminary application from James Weston Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jackie described this item to council on Tuesday evening at the work session. This is a request for water service only outside the city limits. Address is 7 Mary Circle. The sewer is not available to the parcel, and the recommendation is to exclude annexation.
All right, council for a recommendation. We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Number 7, consider accepting a preliminary application to James Weston Carey for 5321 Zion Church Road.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jackie also discussed this item with council on Tuesday evening. Similar to the previous request, this is for water service outside the city. Property is 5321 Zion Church Road. Sewer is not available to the property, and the recommendation is to exclude annexation.
Thank you. Is there a recommendation from council? We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Number 8, consider accepting preliminary application from Robert Capo and Stacy Comer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jackie also discussed this item on Tuesday with council. This is a request for sewer service outside the city limits. Water is not available to the parcel located at 5170 Almond Drive. The recommendation is to exclude annexation as part of the request.
All right, thank you. Back to council for recommendation.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. At Tuesday, we moved item D in the consent agenda. It's now item 9. And item 9 is now consider authorizing city manager to negotiate and execute a replacement and upgrade contract with Clark Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'll call on Mike, our Information Technology Director, to come up and present this item to council.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolsenski, and Ms. Deason. Thank you for having me. Thanks for inviting me up. This project is going to affect you guys quite a bit, and so I'm asking for your consideration. We need consideration to authorize our city manager to enter into a replacement and upgrade contract with the company Clark Powell for the amount of $116,165 for the council dais, cameras, and sound system technology upgrades in our city council meeting room. The purpose for this request is to improve functionality, reliability, and accessibility to our citizens in this room, modernize our technology and simplify our operations, address hardware compatibility issues, which we currently have, and enhance audio and video quality for in-person and remote participation. I have a single screen up here I wanted to go through with you to highlight some of the more public-facing items that will be a part of this upgrade. Obviously, we want to keep as much technology in-house as we can. Our camera controllers, all our existing speakers, our press plates, projectors, and screens are all useful and can be used for the foreseeable future. Our audio system upgrades, new wireless microphones on the dais, which will also consist of voting system base units. This will give us the capacity and ability to electronic vote, should council decide to go that direction, versus the hand raise. Our new microphones Throughout, we'll have audio gain control technology to equalize voice inflection for all. And that just ensures that anybody up here or anywhere else, whether they're soft-spoken, loud, they come across equally. New wireless handhelds and lapel microphones and updated antennas for the control room. And then new listening receivers for our hearing impaired system. Our hearing impaired system is in good shape and is still useful for us, but we want to try some new listening receivers for those who need that type of accessibility. Our video system upgrades, we're going to replace all the existing cameras with 4K cameras, plus add 4 additional views in this room. One would consist of a camera adjacent to this one on this side, and the other would be a wide dais panoramic type that also has pan, tilt, zoom capabilities for a full view of the dais and for those that are up here. Where are we? We're going to replace the current dais monitors that you guys use now with new touchscreen monitors. JC, this might be of interest for you, having watched you get up from your chair and try and jump and point and reference different maps and whatnot. No, I'm not.
Wait a minute. Is that for the record?
What this will allow you to do is to interact with what's being presented both on the big screen and with our home participants. You'll be able to circle, highlight, draw on your screens and show everybody what you're referring to when we're having that conversation.
Everybody will see it.
Everybody here and then on our live streams. Yep.
Right.
And then we'll officially transform this into a Teams room, which is our UC conference interface, which is managed over here with Clarette. This just aligns us with our current license structure for that platform. Okay, this will clean up what we have, simplify our code across all our hardware and software, and it's going to allow us to implement strict quality controls for room maintenance and service. That I can't stress enough. We need good quality controls in this room. This is a very prestigious room. It's a beautiful room and it needs to be treated as such. And we want to make sure that the City of Concord and the technologies that we have in here are state-of-the-art and up to par. And foundationally, we'll be able to grow from that point forward should we want to bring new technologies in. So, does anybody have any questions?
Andy?
As one who is dependent upon this system to participate fully, I'm just very pleased about this. This sounds very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for doing this.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, when will be the implementation date? How long is this gonna?
Well, right now, we're looking at about a 6-week process from start to finish. And of course, we're going to need some training and we're going to need to have some time with you all to go over how this technology works and so that we can fluidly operate it while we're in session. 6 weeks, so we're going to need to be very careful about how we do it because we don't typically get 6 weeks in between work sessions and council meetings. So we're going to have good quality start points in between so that we can conduct these meetings, should we still be in the middle of implementing the system. That's the estimation is 6 weeks. Hopefully it's shorter, and no current start date is yet because we haven't entered into a contract.
I think you answered my second question, so we are gonna get a trial run, right?
If you so choose, we would love to sit down with you because once we learn it, we want to pass on that information so that
Especially JC.
Yeah, I think what may be helpful when the system, like the screens, the touch screens are active, perhaps we can work with council to come in maybe 30 minutes prior to a work session or a regular council meeting when they're going to be up and running and kind of have staff walk you through how they work and the things that you need to be aware of so that you're not accidentally drawing things on there that you don't know is on the screen but everybody else can see. So we need to be very careful of that.
I would advise against that, yes.
And this,
It's the record. Once you do that, it becomes part of the record.
You become very transparent.
Yes, yes.
And this
Any other
will-
questions?
I have one last one. Well, I guess it's last. This will give our citizens more interactive opportunities or at least better presentations from us if they're watching at home or on their computers. I'm assuming they'll get better, what's the word I'm looking for? Better deployment or better,
This is what I,
understanding, seeing us, better delivery. There's the word I'm looking
Okay.
for.
yeah, this is going to foundationally put us in a very, very good place. Right now, we experience a lot of very buggy code. In fact, just this past work session, as soon as we flipped over to the live stream, we lost all camera feeds to the outside. They worked internally, but nobody could see anything. All they could see was our screen. So it's those types of things, and some of you may recognize that we've lost microphones, we've lost the ability with your lapel stuff. I mean, it's just been a myriad of different things that we've had to deal with, and so.
So the lapel didn't work. I just wear it to make it like I have something there.
Nobody wanted to say anything. No.
Okay, so just make sure. Yes, go ahead.
Several questions. On the cameras, the added cameras,
Mhm.
well, and I've watched these several times. Well, we have the ability, Bill knows most of the talking. Will this be just a view for Bill instead of all the way across the front of the dais?
That's to be determined. I mean,
Determined.
we'll have the capability to go across the dais. The views can be managed and set up, however council sees fit. I mean, we want to give that opportunity and create that space. But again, how we use it and just, its function to us is to be determined.
On the voting, how will that tally? Will it be a tally on the screen that
Yes, it will.
they'll instantly see who has voted yes, who's no, and who hasn't voted?
So the way it works is in the base, there's a screen that'll be on the base of your microphones, and there'll be a yes, no, abstain. I believe that's the way it'll work. And once you hit yes, that goes up on the screen. So,
tells each person
Yep.
the name. Right. So it'll say JC said no, Jennifer said yes.
that's, yes.
Excellent.
It just isn't easy.
Yep.
No, That's excellent.
That's very important, because that really gives, talk about transparency, to let everybody see how we. Yeah, because we're so spread out along here, they can't see it.
Yeah, from day one, it's been our desire to make this room the envy of municipalities around the area. And I believe this room is deserving of that, and I'm just very thankful we have the opportunity to have this conversation.
And I think in our state, if you abstain, you're voting yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, to whatever the motion is.
Unless you've been
But-
excused,
But then you're out.
then you're out.
Then you're out of the room.
One
Yep.
final.
Okay, go.
On our second work session, normally we're down on the floor. Will this impact that any, make it easier, make it harder, or make it impossible?
I think it just depends on how you want that set up. I mean, from my understanding, we have used both desktop-type cameras, microphones on the tables, and things of that nature. I can see those types of things continuing.
The capability will be there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll have the ability to come across and view if that's what you choose to do, or we can use the cameras here, excuse me. But the 4K and the high resolution certainly will bring you guys to life. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? We thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Do we need to move to approve?
Yes. Okay, so is there, you don't have anyone else to speak on this, so we'll go ahead and, council, we need a motion.
I move we approve as requested.
Got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. I just saw on the screen, everything came up there. That's great. Yes. All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move, Mayor.
Got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. We're moving to matters not on the agenda, starting off with the Transportation Advisory Committee.
We do not meet in December. We'll meet week after next. I will say, off whatever here, I sent a text from my car to the director of the MPO on the way up here about an agenda item. And Google does not know how to pronounce Concord, but she knows what a step is. That amazed me. So anyway, no, we meet here.
Thank you. The Metropolitan Transit Commission, or Committee.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. There was, as is tradition, no December MTC meeting, and the Transit Commission meeting scheduled for December was postponed until our next meeting in February. But instead of just saying that from the back, I did want to say in terms of for tomorrow, We will play service based off of the weather when it starts, and traditionally, when it starts to stick to the edge of the roadways, we make that our last trip so that we provide as much service as possible. And then, right now, our theoretical projection, assuming we'll close, is we'll open around noon, 11:30 or noon on Saturday, road conditions permitting, just to kind of preview that to you.
Got it. Thank you very much. Any questions? All right. Thank you, LJ. Concord Kannapolis Transit Commission?
No meeting, last one.
No, okay, and starting in the next meeting, I'm now the chair of that for the next year. All right. Central Lino Regional Council?
No meeting, sir.
Okay, thank you. Water and Sewer Authority of Cabarrus County?
First, I think we need to get on a committee that there's no meeting, Jeff. What do you think? We did meet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We did meet, and I just thought I would point out, I don't know if most of you guys are signed up for the WASAC newsletter. They did send out today the top 6 priorities that we identified for 2025, so those bullet points are in there. I'll let you read that. And there was a little bit of an update on the Rocky River expansion, which is always in there. And then the only other update I guess I have is that we do have 3 new board members. The county commissioner appointed new seats. So those individuals will be starting, I think, at the next week. We have a meeting next week. So that's it.
Good luck. Anybody have anything else with that? All right, moving on to We Build Concord. Welcome, Doctor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, to the City Council, to Mr. Payne, Ms. Koczynski, Ms. Deason. Just really quick, on the 15th of January, which is Wednesday, the official ribbon cutting of the Lincoln Street Townhomes will be finally complete. And first resident actually is already slated to move in this Friday. Hopefully weather will permit.
Good timing.
But it's not lost on me, as I just thought about it, that it is also on the day of Martin Luther King's birthday, which actually was done by accident. Torrential rains came and construction got halted, and we had to switch the date. So I'm going to claim that it's divine intervention. And that, so I really hope that you all can come out. You won't be in the cold long. Speakers have been given a timeline. I'm sure that my partner in crime will obey that. JC. And besides that, we'll have brunch. We'll be indoors. There'll be hot chocolate and coffee and all of those things. The heat is on. It is on. And we have currently over 70 RSVPs.
Oh, very good.
Barring any weather. And I'll just say this. I used to run the Martin Luther King Center. And in 2000, we marched at 7-degree weather. So with that, I will say that 37 is not much to ask. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, it is at 11. Program will probably be from 11 to 11:20, and then you'll be able to tour one of the units right after.
Thank you. All right, Public Art Commission. Hello, Dole.
Hello.
Welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Good evening, everybody. I'm here to present the Commission's proposed annual work plan for the upcoming fiscal year. I hope that's okay in this part of the meeting. Fine. Okay. So before I begin, I'd especially like to thank the other Commission members and staff. There's a few Commission members here and staff for all the work they've done, getting all that we've accomplished so far this year, get it done. Okay. Okay, this work plan is our aspirational proposal for projects the commission would like to address in the next few years, as well as a quick review of the projects currently underway. I'd also like to emphasize that all the projects that we're proposing come directly from recommendations made in the Public Art Master Plan. But first, I'd like to do a quick restatement of the commission's vision for how it strives to operate. And the PAC believes the public art will strengthen the city's overall identity, uplift community stories, add beauty to public spaces. We strive to operate with accountability, transparency, and trust. And we will ensure that projects are geographically balanced throughout the city, excuse me, integrated into parks, greenways, other city areas, feature the work of Cabarrus and county and Concord artists whenever feasible, and continue to integrate diverse community voices into all our projects. Okay, with that, here's a quick review. This section's a quick review of the projects that we have ongoing. There hasn't been a lot of significant changes since December, so I'm going to buzz through this pretty quick. First one is the Downtown Streetscape Temporary Art Show. The calls for artists have been published, and actually these calls closed last week. The curator is telling us that we have 15 muralists and 15 sculptors that have applied to be in the show, so there's a really nice selection. And next week, the commission will start going through and sorting all that out. Sculpture pads and the mural fence are completed with the exception of one pad that's still yet to be poured on the north end of the streetscape. But I've been told that's in the contractor schedule to be done soon, shortly, something. And that's, sculptures are still scheduled for installation in March, and the mural's still scheduled for completion in May. For the next project, the transit bus wrap project, we've done the research to find that this project's feasible and within the previously allocated budget for the transit center. So our next steps are to select a bus wrap vendor, generate a call to artists, and then, of course, finally select the art and get it installed. The goal for this one is to be accomplished before the end of the fiscal year. However, we're still effectively just starting with this bus wrap idea, so this project might slide into early next fiscal year.
Is that one bus, or is that all of them, or?
One, maybe two, is what we're shooting for right now. Les Meyer's tennis wall mural. The call to artists has been published, and that closes next Monday. So far, we've got 4 applications for this project, but more should come in over the weekend because artists are like everybody else, and they do everything at the last minute. So we expect more to be in by Monday. And as far as the schedule, the artist selection will be in February. The artist, if there's any artist-led community engagement, that'll be March. Final design approval in April and mural completion in June. The public art map that is out and located on the public art projects page that's on the city website. All the known existing public art that we have is on the map now. And IT is generating an online suggestion form so that anybody can nominate art that we are not aware of to be put onto the map, which is going to be great because we don't know what we don't know. And this suggestion form, we hope to be loaded onto the website and publicized in February. And of course, adding art to the map is constantly ongoing as new art gets placed. And the Mural Assistance Grant Program, this is an ongoing call for murals to be located on exterior spaces open to the public and within city limits. And we would like the commission to review these applications every 6 months and then award grants that way. And then projects are eligible for matching grants up to $2,500 maximum. Current status for this project is the guidelines, the application form, and a grants agreement are under review by staff. But we hope to have an announcement for this project in February, and then the PAC could review the first round of applications in April. So that's kind of a very quick review of the current year. This next section is for the upcoming year. And the first one is we'd like to continue the Downtown Streetscape Art Show with a new round of sculptures. One change is we would like the sculptures to rotate every other year as opposed to every year going forward after this first year. That would reduce the per year funding needed to keep sculptures out there, and also reduce workspace for the commission and for staff.
That funding is for 2 years?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, there shouldn't be any, hopefully, any money needed for year 2. And we'd also like to add a few more locations somewhere, either downtown or somewhere to be determined, let's say. It wouldn't be on the streetscape because of the very specific locations that are currently in the sidewalk. But we'd like to add some additional spaces for that. And we're requesting $30,000 for this project. And this includes payment to the artists for a 2-year lease for the sculptures, installation of some new sculpture pads where needed, and then contingency expenses for unknown things that come up. Second project is we'd like to commission another mural on city property. We would use the same processes that we're developing now for the Les Myers tennis wall for murals going forward, and this would be a second one. So hopefully all the processes would be set up and flow a little easier. And of course, this one, just like the tennis wall mural, we'd seek out local community input, and community engagement would be critical for this one. We're requesting $10,000 for that one. Next one is we'd like to continue the Mural Assistant Grant Program, and it would run just like what I said for the current year, same guidelines and everything else. It would just continue. We'd review them every 6 months, hopefully for the foreseeable future. Excuse me. And for this one, we're requesting $10,000, and the reason for that, why that's gone up, is this year we just have a sliver of a year to see applications, and next year we should have the whole year. So hopefully there'll be more projects that we can get through. And then finally, for next year, a new project is a wall art piece at the airport, which would be located in the terminal, above the entrance and around the entrance doors that go in and out of the terminal. We like this idea as a project because it's kind of the first public art gateway project and be seen by everybody coming in or out of the terminal. This one's in the early phases of planning, of course, and it'll be open to any kind of art medium that could be mounted to the wall. So it could be a painted mural, it could be a fiber textile kind of piece. It could be some three-dimensional whatever, as long as it can be mounted to the wall and not attached to the floor or ceiling. For this one, we're requesting 30,000, and that number is based on our experience and similar sized projects that we've seen done in other cities around the country. And then a little bit into the following fiscal year, a couple of proposed projects. The first one is the Ramsar Park project. This was on our work plan for next year, but because of park construction schedules and whatnot, it would slide until late fiscal '27 or possibly into fiscal '28, depending on construction schedule. Parks and Rec have identified 3 good locations for public art in this park, and any art that's chosen would be aligned with the park's design uses and hopefully be relatable to all the visitors in the park. The next one is a large gateway mural that would be located on the George Liles Parkway overpass, where it overpasses Highway 29. So you would see it going north into the city on 29. This one's very early on. It would require coordination with, the various transportation agencies and probably numerous city departments. We've done a very preliminary initial feasibility conversations with the city DOT and just starting with the NC DOT. But what we've seen so far is it's feasible. So we'll see where that goes. And we really like this project also because it'd be a large, dramatic visual gateway into the city from Charlotte that would be seen by probably tens of thousands of people every day as they pass on that, underneath that overpass. And then finally, for fiscal '27, we'd like to continue the 3 ongoing projects that we've have going so far. The downtown streetscape would be one, and like I mentioned, hopefully for '27, there'd be no funding needed to continue that for I'll call it the off year, but it's still on. It's just not rotated sculptures at that time. And then continue the mural assistant grant program and continue having a commissioned mural within the city. So in summary, the commission is basically proposing 3 ongoing projects and 1 or 2 standalone finite type projects for each year. And with that, be happy to answer any questions.
All right, questions?
I'd simply like to say to you and Sarah's staff and the commission, excellent work. You have exceeded my expectations. So again, we'll figure out the funding later in the process.
Sure.
But I think this adds rich texture to our city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, J.C.
Same lines, Doyle. It appears to me that you and your commissioners have done an inordinate amount of work as well as a great amount of planning. You should be very proud of where you are at this point. I will give one little idea for that George Liles, since that's the entrance to our manufacturing center of Concord.
Yeah.
Some sort of an ode to industry, manufacturing, labor, workers would be just an idea.
Sounds like we might have somebody on our art selection committee already. Dang.
Okay.
Andy would veto that.
The downtown mural, where
Yes.
where do you see that going?
That mural is going to be on that fence next to Preston
Okay.
Porter.
All right.
And that will not rotate every year, let's say. It'll be up for some length of time to be determined. I guess it's dependent on the fence also.
Yeah,
But if the fence lasts as long as it's been there since I've been in town, eventually it'll have to be replaced. But there's no plan to do that along with the sculptures.
All right. Any more questions? Well, thanks to you and your committee. We really appreciate your hard work, as Andy was saying.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Concord United Committee. No report. All right. Tomorrow, we have the legislative breakfast, and we all got the email that even with the weather coming, that still looks like the weather will be after that, so who's ever planning to be there? 8:30 tomorrow, and it's going to be at the arena, this year. 8:30, yeah. Anybody have anything else they want to share tonight? All right. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, raise your hand. So Lori, you're not in favor? I'm sorry. Thank you. Everybody be safe. Yes. Too late.